In this 9th class we will continue the theme of creation, which we started to study in the previous episode. We have seen so far that, in the light of natural reason, we can conclude with certainty, from the created realities, that there's only one God, Creator and Lord of all that exists. We now need to know what divine revelation has to say about the origin of the world. In the first place, it is necessary to distinguish the concept of creation, in the technical sense in which Christian theology uses it, from the current and imprecise uses in which we usually use it. Well, in a very broad sense, the term creation designates any form of production. So we say, for example, create a story, create a musical piece, create a sculpture, etc. What all human creations have in common is the fact that they are the production of a certain thing, of the material or intellectual order, from something pre-existing that serves as raw material. A sculpture, in fact, is only possible if there is a marble block from which we can extract it. Likewise, a new melody is only possible because there are already certain sound proportions that we can manipulate and combine in infinite ways. Divine creation, however, is a production of another order, completely radical and total. God, in creating the world, did not act on a matter that already existed. On the contrary, he made it out of nothing, ex nihilo, not in the sense, of course, that this nothing was already something chaotic or modulable, in which he would have introduced order or from which he would have formed creatures, as they imagine many pagan cosmologies. In view of this, we can define creation, here, in the strict sense, as the first production of the whole being, made from nothing by the universal cause, which is God one. Let us see in more detail the central elements of this definition. It is first production, because it is the total and absolute origin of each and every being. It is of the whole being, which previously did not exist at all and then comes to exist. For this reason, it does not refer to any type of modification or alteration of something pre-existing. It is out of nowhere, not as something precedent, but as a giving, simple and instant. The existence to it until then did not exist. It is for the universal cause, God, since only He is capable of such an act. It is a revealed truth that is explicitly stated in many passages of the SS. Scriptures, cf. For example, GN 1:1, PS 18:1, 101:26, 145, 5s, = 43:37, is 44:24. 45, 7, JR 10, 12, 27, 5, Jo 1, 3, Cal 1, 16. It is also a faith, through the testimony of the Scriptures and the magisterium of the Church, that God, the most perfect being, created the world by a free and loving design of His will. Furthermore, reason shows us with all evidence that, because it is such a radical act, creation has as a consequence the most absolute dependence on the being of creatures in relation to the Creator. This means, among other things, that each and every creature, from the smallest and most insignificant to the largest and most complex, to continue to exist, incessantly requires the conservative action of God. In fact, if he could, even for a few seconds, fall asleep and stop thinking and wanting the works of his own hands, all creatures would cease to exist, that is, they would immediately return to the nothing of which they were created. We are, yes, totally dependent on him, and the fact that we are here, being what we are and how we are, is already proof that he is constantly thinking about us and loving us with a unique and singular love. The creation, therefore, was not a simple act of the past, which took place we do not know how many billions of years. It is, in fact, a continuous and incessant act, as it involves, as one of its integral moments, the conservation of creatures. When we confess, therefore, our faith in Almighty God the Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we recognize the omnimodal freedom of God in creating the world, His absolute fidelity to the conservation of creatures and our radical dependence on Him, which to be, with immense love, even those who do not want to accept Him as Lord and Creator of the universe.